Hello YouTube. Today in this video we're going to take a look at the all-new President Walker 3 FCC AM FM mobile CB radio. Alright YouTube, I am extremely excited to show you guys this new Walker 3. This is new for 2023, probably the first look here on this channel. We have an analog SRF meter, USB output for charging phones. It's a very hot charge port, by the way. Really functional, quite useful. We have the microphone connector. This is the one that can't pull out. You plug the mic in and screw the little ring on there, and it is locked in there really well. We have our weather channel switch. This does have 40 CB channels as well as all the weather channels with weather alert capability. CB PA switch. We have our emergency channel switch. This is kind of a neat feature. In the off position, we just have our normal 40 channels. These are pre-programmable for emergency 1 and 2. They come from the factory as channel 9 and 19. However, you can go into the menu and change these to how you want and actually turn it into like priority channels, which I really like that feature. We have A&L and noise blanker off, A&L noise blanker on together, A&L noise blanker with high frequency cut. This gives you a little bit of both worlds. It will tame down the high frequency response coming out of your speaker as well as having A&L and noise blanker feature. This is our AM FM mode button here, as well as our talkback control to toggle the talkback on and off. This is our channel scan button here as well as Vox, so this is a dual feature button as well. Over here we have the standard old school dual knob configuration here with volume squelch. Volume's always in the middle, squelch is the outer ring. RF power, RF gain, and mic gain. Very important features to have on a radio. And then of course we have our rotary channel selector that also acts as a menu switch to toggle through the menu. On the rear of the radio, we have our SO239 coax connector. We have external speaker jack. This is a mono 3.5 millimeter. I have a PA speaker jack, another mono 3.5 millimeter, and then our little micro plug here for a microphone to use in Vox mode. I have not seen any accessories come out yet for this, but I look forward to seeing that. Heat synced up chassis, and on the bottom down here we have the ever so popular 3-pin Uniden Cobra plug, very standard. I really like them that they put this plug on here versus having that hardwired. On the side of the radio, we have some holes here for the provided mic clip, and we have holes for the mounting bracket. On the bottom of the unit, we have a nice large 3-inch diameter speaker. It has very good audio quality. Okay, on the inside of the radio, we have all surface mount technology here. There are no cans, there are no little pots or secret trimmers to turn to do any truck stop tunes. So you can assure that this radio is always going to stay clean sounding and not give you any problems. It's going to be a very reliable rig. The only way you can adjust and align this particular rig is through front panel controls. These are hidden menu controls that only the certified technicians for this radio are able to get. So that kind of, that you know, from a hobbyist standpoint, I did not like that at first, but I'm getting used to it, and I like that fact that these cannot be modified in such a way to interfere with other people on other channels. So I really like that. No more truck stop tunes with these radios. This whole complete chassis is just one giant aluminum heatsink. We have the output final down here. It's just a single final radio. We have our voltage regulator over here. We have another regulator IC over here that takes care of supplying all the proper voltages to the chassis. So basically what happens is this comes in at 12 volts, goes through this system here, it knocks it down to 5 volts and 8 volts, and in some instances it will take 12 volts as well. So pretty neat technology, really neat technology. Right here we have the back of the face right here. You can see it is a true analog meter. I still really like that. We've got some heavy wiring over here to the to power up the USB port. We have very quality sealed adjustable pots there. Yeah, pretty nice setup. Very nice. Let's flip her around here. This is the back side. Look at that. Look how clean that is. Just extremely, extremely clean. One last shot. We'll get a shot of that ginormous speaker. I love it. Great audio quality from this speaker. I prefer these much more than the small ones. I really like these full chassis radios, even though it doesn't take up the full chassis. You know, all of this, you could make this shorter, but you get more efficient cooling here. You keep these components cool. They're going to last longer. It's going to be a more trouble-free radio. All right, let's check out the performance of this rig. So I have the radio set up here on the bench. I've got it hooked up to my power supply. I'm running a DC power supply. I'm sitting at exactly 13.8 volts. We have it hooked up to the watt meter on a 1500 watt dummy load, and we are ready to take some power output measurements. So we're on AM channel 20 midband. I'm going to give this a dead key, and I am seeing just at 4 watts. Give a little whistle here. That brought it up about a half of a watt. So actually this is a pretty hot little radio. Now this is a very low serial number radio. I think it's like 18. So I'm sure after production they're going to get these about right. And these radios, most of these radios will come shipped at just a hair under 4 watts. But that's pretty hot output. Now, modulation on this radio is about 80-85%. It is a little low on AM. However, it sounds absolutely stunning on FM. So when some more of the technical information comes out on this and we can get into our front panel menu controls to adjust for more modulation like with some of the previous model presidents, it really wakes these radios up. Now, if you're just the average user, you're going to use this on the highway, close communications, talking in convoy situations or trucker type situations. It's fine. I'd just leave it alone. Okay, now FM will be pretty much the exact same RF output, but we'll check it anyway. FM is exactly the same as AM. It's just a partial tick over 4 watts. Let's go back to AM and let's put this meter in peak envelope power reading and we'll see what it's doing in PEP. Hello radio, 1, 2, hello, hello, hello. Hello radio. So we're going to about 2, 4, 6, 8. We're going to about 8 watts PEP, and that's pretty respectable. Now, of course, that's not going to do anything in FM, but if you guys want to see that, the way FM, the FM mode operates, we're not going to get PEP readings or anything like this. So hello, hello, hello. Of course, it's just absolutely dead, still sitting there at 4 watts. Not a problem. So everything's working as it should. Very good. All right, receiver-wise, this has a pretty hot receiver in it. I'm pretty impressed. These surface mount receivers are sounding better and better every year. They're getting this stuff refined, and this radio has a no noise, a very low noise floor. And a noise floor is basically if you don't have an antenna or anything hooked up to this, just how noisy is the radio itself. And that's something that I like to do in my testing. Noise floor means a lot to me. Some radios are just extremely annoying, so I'm going to unplug the coax, even though that only went to my dummy load. I just don't want this radio to pick up anything, so this is just the radio on its own. I have the RF gain fully clockwise, so it's at maximum, and no squelch, so let's turn this up. Now, some radios, when you start getting to about right here, you'll hear static in the background. This one's pretty clean. So we got to get up to about 1 or 2 o'clock position to start hearing anything. And that is all the way. That's a very respectable noise floor. That is nice. So this receiver has great sensitivity. It has great selectivity and a low noise floor. Super, super impressive. So the Walker 3 is what I call a full feature radio, kind of like the old school Cobra 29s and stuff, only smaller, and of course this does more. And what I mean by full featured is we have RF gain and mic gain, very important features for kind of the more hardcore CBer. RF power output, it's not really a necessity. You know, we're going to leave this mostly cranked up. However, if you're talking to somebody maybe 20 feet away, you could back that down. And of course, volume and squelch, which pretty much every radio has. The weather channel capability is nice, but this is what's important to me. The A&L and noise blanker circuit, super important to me. As a longtime CBer, I want to be able to get rid of that noise. I also want to be able to use the RF gain in conjunction with this. So if we're in a high noisy area, between using both of these and backing this RF gain down, you can make a high noise situation a little easier to get along with. So that's super important. And it has the SWR circuit in there. Now I'm going to make a separate video on how to use this radio as far as checking your SWRs. It can be a little complicated, a little odd if you're not really used to this particular system. It can be a little overwhelming at first. So anyway, we have all the important features here on the front. This is the important stuff that you're going to use in day-to-day mobile base operation. Let me show you a couple of the menu-driven features. Now, a lot of folks don't like menu-driven features, and I don't either. When you have to use a menu to do these functions, but because these are all here, this is not so bad. So here's what we're going to do. Remember, this was the channel selector. So what I want to do is I'm just going to change the color of this. So we're going to push this channel selector button to get into our menus. Okay. This was for the microphone setting, Electret or Dynamic. This microphone I have not mentioned. This does have up-down buttons with it. And this is a modern, what we call Electret microphone. This has a small mic element in here that is has quite a good bandwidth, actually, very, very responsive. And it also gets supplied a little bit of power through this mic plug. This is not really a power mic, but this is just a better way of doing it nowadays. And you can switch between this style of microphone, and if maybe you have an older microphone you want to hook up to this radio, what we call a dynamic mic, you can do that. And you just change that function in here, and then it'll go like mic type, there's Electret, and then dynamic. Okay, DY for dynamic. We're in Electret, so we're going to leave that alone. We're going to toggle over here. Here's PA set. You can mess around with the PA settings and turn this into a monitor and whatnot, and that's kind of cool. Here's our skip scan. Skip scan, and I'll do a video on this separately too. This allows us to scan the 40 channels, but skip certain ones. So maybe you've got some interference on one channel, maybe from a neighbor or from a phone pole or something, and maybe channel 10 or channel 9 always stops it in the scan mode. Well, you can program channels to skip scan. So I think that's a really cool feature. Let's get back into the menus. We can reset all of the menus that we, or all of the adjustments that we did here in case you get lost in your menus. I don't suggest doing that. However, this is pretty easy to toggle through things, and I would just leave that one alone, quite honestly. Color, we have it in yellow right now. And I know this is washing out on the camera. I'm doing my best here. Here's purple, orange, green, blue, cyan, and then yellow. Again, we can toggle through all of those. And I'm kind of a fan of green. However, it washes out here on the camera. I tried to pick something that wouldn't wash out here. Let's go back to, I like this one here. All right, so we'll set it right there. We have our dimmer control. The dimmer only dims this front readout panel. It does not dim the S unit meter. I would have liked to have seen that, but that's okay. This is still pretty nice. And then we just push it and set it. This is the key beep. So we'll toggle this. We'll turn it on. And now every time we turn the key or do a command here on the front, it will give us a confirmation beep. The Roger beep, how many, I forgot how many Roger beeps we have here. I think 5 or 6. Yeah, so I just leave these off, but you can do a Roger beep. Okay, let's go over here to tone control. Now this is a receive tone control, and what this tone control does is this sort of acts like a tone control on a stereo. Let's get back into this here. We're at 0 right now, or flat, or like straight up on your stereo control, right? Like this would be like your tone control on your home stereo or car stereo. This would be high, this would be low. I'm just using this as an example, okay? So what we have here is if you are a little sensitive to high frequencies, you can take it down and take the high frequencies out, and it goes from 0 through 5. If you're a little tone deaf on the high frequencies like I am, then you can add a little bit of high frequency to it. And this may be too high pitched for some folks, but I really like having this. And by the way, when you use this and the high cut and A&L together, you can really dial things in. So we'll just leave it at 1. Actually, I had it at 0, didn't I? I'll go back to flat, is what we call that. These are your emergency channels. Now, out of the box, emergency channel 1 was set at 9, and emergency channel 2 was set at 19. So I have mine on 6 and 38, just kind of random. Okay. We have our Vox set. This is so you don't, if you wanted to run this microphone in Vox, or voice operated relay is what they call that, you don't have to use this PTT button here. Okay. And you can just talk and the radio will key up on its own. Kind of a neat feature. I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't use Vox. It's a very rarely used feature, but maybe if you had like a lapel mic or something like that, and you were off-roading or something, maybe you'd get something out of the Vox. And then of course we have the SWR feature. I'll just plug this into the dummy load here, and we'll see what we can do with this. See if I can demonstrate this. So the old CBs, or the old school radios, you would look at the SWR on your meter, and you would calibrate. You'd hit calibrate, which is usually like right up in here, right where that little slot is right there at the 30 dB mark. And then you turn it to reflected, and you could read your reflected signal. And if the meter was low, you were okay. As the meter went higher, you know, obviously not good. Okay, so what President did with this is they did it electronically. So this radio is putting out short bursts of RF power and reading it, and then giving you that information in the form of a tone or beeps. If the beeps are loud and fast, that means your SWRs are high or out of whack, high or low, depending. I mean, you know, they can go the opposite way if you have a total mistune. But then what you're looking for is you're looking for a solid tonation. So let's see what this radio says our dummy load's like, okay? Okay, this radio says that I'm pretty much at a perfect SWR. A 1.0 is absolutely perfect. Now, if this had a beep to it or anything like that, that would be like a 1-to-1 SWR. So if it went like a solid tone with a beep every once in a while, that'd be like a 1.1 SWR. And of course, it would show you here, it'd say 1.1, etc., etc. So I know that my meter, my dummy load, has a perfect SWR according to this radio. So that'll about do it for our features. And then of course, again, we have the mic type and all this. Now I can show you how we use the talkback. Now the talkback actually on this radio can be used 2 ways. Okay, and we can do the talkback either by pushing and holding the multifunction button here, talkback. So we'll push AM, FM and hold it. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the highest right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can get it to squeak back a little bit. But anyway, there's our talkback. And we can turn it off. And just like that. And it's totally functional. So, yeah, kind of a cool feature. Kind of cool. I'm not a talkback person, but that's okay. Anyway, so there you have it. The President Walker 3 FCC. Please leave questions or comments down below. I'll leave a link to President USA, their website, and then I'll leave an Amazon link if you want to take a look at these. I'm not sure what the going rate for one of these are right now, but you could take a look on Amazon or something. I like to order certain things through Amazon because of their return policy. So if you do happen to get something defective, there's like no questions asked. Just box the thing back up and you're done. You can just send her back. So anyway, all right. Thanks for watching. Please leave questions or comments down below. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Cheers.